It's about that time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of City Views. We're so delighted to bring to you our Meet Candidates segments where you get some insights on what candidates are thinking, what their plans are, what their visions are, and how you can support them in their endeavors to lead our great city of Torrington. We want to thank our sponsor for City Views, Toth Insurance Agency, located at 1151 East Main Street. Better protection, better value. And today we are very, very happy to bring to you our esteemed Mayor, the Honorable Elinor C. Carbone. Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us and doing this for us.
It's not a problem. You know our mission here at City Views, and you have been a guest on our show numerous of times in the past, and it's always been a fun time having you on the show.
Thank you.
However, things are kind of getting serious.
Yes, election season. Absolutely.
Indeed it is.
This is when the public gets to make big decisions on where they think we should be going over the next 4 years. So I appreciate your opportunity, and your thoughtfulness in bringing this to the public.
Not a problem, Mayor. It's our pleasure. Now, we're keeping our formats kind of basic.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to delve into the whys, what's, and the hows. And please take as long as you feel is necessary to make your positions clear. But the first question that we want to submit to you is why you are running for your third term as mayor of the city of Torrington.
So I will tell you that being a contributing member of this community has been a lifestyle for me. Going back many decades, I first started serving on the PTO in the schools that my sons attended. I, from there, got elected to the Board of Education, served 4 years, got elected to the City Council, served on that board for 6 years, and have been serving as the mayor of the city for the past 8 years. In between all of that, sprinkle in my commitment to my church, where I taught CCD and worked in this community, volunteering wherever I could. So it's important to me to be a part of the solution to any problems that may present themselves here in the city. And my focus has always been on how to make our hometown a safe, happy place for all of our residents to live. You know, whether you're a retiree or a young person looking to begin your career, or a young family, we want to make sure that we're providing the kind of community that fits you. My strategy and approach to achieving those goals has always been deeply rooted in the problem-solving strategies that we used in the Working Cities Challenge. I know, Jacque, you were very much a part of that. And it was a problem-solving methodology that I totally embrace because of its impact, and it's building solutions from the ground up. So for anybody who isn't familiar with that methodology, you know, we made sure that we were identifying the real problem, that we clearly defined the problem, that we analyzed the problem, and then brainstormed and selected the best solutions for the problem and developed an implementation plan. Through this approach, I have developed strong connections and relationships with our federal and state partners within the governor's office, our Department of Economic and Community Development, DOT, DEEP, EPA, and the Department of Housing. You know, these relationships have resulted in over $7 million worth of grant funds that have been granted to the city of Torrington over the past 8 years. And we use those grants in brownfield remediation infrastructure improvements, and business development. That $7 million of investment has in turn resulted in over $100 million of development. That's grand list growth, that's business growth. So I believe that my experience and confidence that I've garnered in my ability to bring a project to fruition has us well positioned to pursue additional development opportunities, and certainly has gained the respect of all of those partners that we have worked very hard to develop.
Now, I know that this next question may be a bit difficult to answer because there are probably numerous items that you have on your plate in terms of things that you would like to prioritize or address as mayor. But if there's one specific issue that is very close to your heart, or that is relevant to the community in terms of its development, its growth, what issue would that be?
You know, I would say that this pandemic has rocked the economic condition of this community. You know, we haven't even begun to identify the long-term impact that these past 18 months will have on our business community and our families. I think it's going to take strong, experienced leadership to bring us through the next 4 years. I do believe that a lot of the problems or the hurdles that were identified through the work that we did in our Working Cities Challenge have not changed. You know, finding a way to attract and retain our young people in the city of Torrington. We don't want to be a retirement community. We want to be a vibrant community where young families choose to live and work. So I do believe that that will be an important focus for any mayor going forward.
So with that being said, what is your strategy in implementing the solution path to making sure that you're reaching those objectives?
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. You know, I intend to remain focused on the implementation of the solutions that we've developed over these past 8 years. And I'm utilizing the lessons that we learned through any of the studies that we have undertaken, our brownfield area-wide revitalization, our market studies, our roadway improvement plans, community development plans. These are all plans that are community driven. They come from the ground up. Our plan of conservation and development, our municipal development plan, you know, they are community driven plans. And I believe that all of these were well-founded, well-developed, and I find myself now in a comfortable position of just now being able to plug in the right developers, the stakeholders, investors, and even our governmental agencies, because we're bringing to the table a rock-solid plan as to how we're going to move forward on all of this. I can tell you that I am currently in discussion with a number of developers that actually are seeking the city of Torrington out because they're aware of the work that we've been doing over these past 8 years, and they recognize the potential that exists here now. I'm also in a number of communications and conversations with private property owners of significant land holdings, where we can talk about developing a business park or an industrial park, you know, and these are important elements. It's all about the balance of what you're bringing forward. And the third leg of that stool, I would say, is community development, you know, to attract young families or get our young people to stay here. We have to be a vibrant community. You know, that's engaging our arts community. It's about providing those recreational opportunities or those community events that make them feel a part of this community. So those are my focuses. They've been my focus over the last 4 years. I see that very easily translating over the next 4 years and bringing back, reaping better rewards in the next 4 years.
So we're going to detour a tad bit from our normal format here, but I would like to inquire with you, Mayor, about what you feel are some of your major accomplishments over your last two terms that you would like to highlight to our audience.
I would say that the community or economic development, when I say I've brought in $100 million worth of development, I can tell you there is a direct impact of the decisions that I made here in this office that brought those projects to fruition. Whether it was taking the lead on going to DECD and requesting funding to do assessment work on a former dry cleaning establishment that then paved the way for a $5 million office development project to happen, whether it's presenting an opportunity for a tax abatement for elderly housing that paved the way for the completion of that development, which is now our ninth highest taxpayer in the community, to even finding ways to connect our smaller business opportunities to resources. I believe that has been probably the biggest accomplishment that I have. While focusing on that development, I didn't forget what are the other things that make us a community. Focusing on what are we going to do to support the arts community? How are we going to pursue additional funding streams, connecting our arts community to those resources that they may need to continue their efforts and be successful and sustainable. Investing in the community amenities, the dog park down at Toro Field, a disc golf course up at the Alvord Park soccer fields, doing trail development work. We've done miles of trails, pursuing grants so that we can get sidewalks that provide safe passage for pedestrians, foot traffic from the bottom of East Main Street to the top of East Main Street. And while that is a labor of love, it's been going for the past 3.5 years, it's still very much in the pipeline. And we have ongoing discussions with DOT because that's an important project for this community. We're about to finish the splash pad up at the Bessie Pond Park. That's a nice amenity where maybe we eliminated a kids pool that, was always struggling with, the correct balance of chemicals and, clean water, and moving into an amenity that is trending. Young kids want to run around and be wet, but they don't necessarily want to sit in a pool. So those are the things that I feel that I'm most proud of. I can say that the passage of the referendum for road work, before I was elected, we were averaging 2 miles of road work a year, 2-3 miles at best. The last 2 years, we've accomplished 24 miles of road work. That's the direct result of my making the determination that if our utility work in the roads is going at the rate of 4 to 6 miles a year, and we're coming in behind them and only accomplishing 2 miles a year, we're creating a bigger gap and we have to close that. And that's when I went to the public and said, we can solve this problem if we bond these projects and start to keep up with the utility work. The passage of the construction of a new high school, middle school, for anybody that was paying close attention during that, our boards were very much split on whether or not this was the right time to do that. I don't believe for a moment any of them didn't agree that it had to happen. But being in the middle of a pandemic, I think there was some reticence. However, I had complete faith in the Board of Education and the people that were working on the building committee, and I broke the tie to send that to the voters to allow them an opportunity to make that decision. So great things have happened, especially over the last 4 years, and I'm quite proud of those, to be honest.
Now, for anyone that might be listening to this interview that might be thinking about bringing a business to Torrington, perhaps raising a family in Torrington, coming to Torrington for the arts amenities, what would your elevator pitch be to those individuals?
So my elevator pitch first is, if you're thinking of moving to Torrington, I want you to come into my office and sit down with me. And what I'm going to do is I'm bringing to the table our building official, I'm bringing our fire marshal, I'm bringing our city planner, our economic development director, and our assessor. And we sit with a potential developer or a business, and we roll out their plans, and we go through those plans in detail so they can identify what the hurdles would be in moving their project forward. One of the successes that we had in that approach is the Bad Dog Brewery, where Matt Tack came in. He was just kicking tires in the city of Torrington. He and his son met with me. We gave them a few locations that, having grown up in the city of Torrington, we recognized had great potential. He did some due diligence and then came back, identified this property, and that's when we said, all right, everyone roll up your sleeves and let's help him get this project move forward. That's my approach to working with developers. More recently, our Penrose project, which is it is under construction. We're about to celebrate a groundbreaking ceremony next Thursday. The same approach. It's all hands on deck. It's everybody at the table. Keystone Place at Newberry Brook, we did the same thing. I established a liaison for the ongoing construction period, so there's an open line of communication with the city. And most recently, Waters Way is now starting to think about the possibility of another housing development in the former Hotchkiss building, where it's a significant investment. And long before they invest millions of dollars in the design and the site preparation, they want to know that they have a partner at the table with them.
Now, out of the myriad of achievements and accomplishments that you have made in the city over your tenure, what one area do you think really needs to be improved?
Communication. This has been a challenge. We identified this in the work that we did with the Working Cities Challenge. Our community has a very diverse reliance on how they get their news. When I speak to somebody who's young and I say, where are you getting your information? And they say to me, I'm getting it from TikTok or Instagram. When I talk to a senior citizen and they're still relying on the newspaper, as I do, and I'm talking about the paper newspaper on the ink on your fingers kind of paper reader. People are relying on Facebook. They're relying on social media. So there's no one solid source of information. And we have struggled with that. We're not the only municipality or the only agency that struggles with that. It's a problem across the state and across the nation. One of the other proud achievements that I have is chasing a $750,000 grant through the Building Healthy Communities. And a large portion of that grant was dedicated to developing a better communications system. We are about to launch an Everbridge communication system where messages and information can be sent directly to someone's cell phone, much like the alert systems. You sign up and information from the city can be sent directly to your phone, whether it's a parking ban or an important meeting that's coming up on Monday evening or a storm warning. That's a system that's the technology is there, and we've determined that it's the time to invest in that. Boosting our presence on social media and developing a newsletter that is not only presented in English, but also we hired a young, dynamic intern that does a lot of our social media and translates it into Spanish for us. So a lot of
Well,
work to do on that still. We're not there.
yes. Well, seeing how social media is touching every part of our lives, a great amount of attention does need to be spent on that so that we can flesh out the good from the bad information and make sure that everyone is properly informed. So,
It
Mayor, I
does
think,
come. Yeah,
yeah,
it comes with its own challenges. I agree.
we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for informing our audience on your vision, your plans, your accomplishments, your achievements. And this isn't a one-off, however. We would like to circle back and speak with you again and take the temperature on how you're feeling as we get closer to the race.
That sounds fine. I think, what do we have? 7 weeks from today. So
Well,
we're actually 7 weeks from Tuesday.
if it goes as fast as this year has gone, we'll be talking to you next week.
And that's fine.
I'm
Please.
still mentally stuck in the middle of July, and here it is.
I know.
We're almost out of September.
It's about that time.
I saw my first Christmas commercial last week. So thank you so much, Jacque. I do appreciate what you do for us in the city and with City Views.
No problem. Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mayor Elinor C. Carbone sharing with us her thoughts on this year's election campaign. You guys tune in on our YouTube channel at cityviews-ct, or check out our website at cityviews-ct.com for the latest in news, arts, and culture. See you back soon with more right here.
City Views.